My name is Colin Owens, and this is my audience. The United States has more of its population incarcerated than any other country in the world. A little less than 1% of adult citizens are currently incarcerated. Less than 1% may not sound like a lot, but that comes out to almost 2.5 million people behind bars. In addition, close to 5 million are on parole or probation, for a total of roughly 7 million adults involved in the criminal justice system. Of this massive number of people in prison, the majority of that population are our nation's minorities. Black and Hispanics make up a smaller part of the total U.S. population, but according to an article written by Leah Sakala, roughly 40% of the total U.S. prison population is made up of African Americans. And Hispanics make up roughly 21% of the total prison population. So roughly 60% of the U.S. prison population is made up of the citizens that are considered our nation's minorities. I'm going to discuss the causes and possible solutions to this problem. The rates at which minorities are being locked up is alarming. While 1 in 17 white males will go to prison in their life, 1 in 3 blacks and 1 in 6 Hispanics will likely be incarcerated at some point in their life. Over the last few decades, the U.S. prison population has risen steadily. In the early 1980s, many politicians took the tough on crime stance and the war on drugs was launched. New laws giving harsh mandatory minimums on drug charges caused the prison population to grow immensely. In 1980, less than 2 million Americans were in prison or on parole or probation, whereas today that number has more than tripled. Roughly half of the inmate population are incarcerated for some kind of drug charge. Even though statistically the rate of drug use by race puts white citizens at the top of the list, black Americans make up 45% of the people incarcerated for drug charges. So why are minorities being locked up at such rates? If minorities make up the majority of the prison population, what pushes them towards crime more than the majority? The reason minorities seem to be involved in crimes at a higher rate is because they statistically receive less opportunity for something other than crime. Even in modern years, minorities receive a lot lower quality education. This obviously means minorities have a lower average income and options for work. The fact that minorities statistically make less money makes it pretty obvious why they turn to crime. Nobody goes out to burglarize a house or rob a convenience store for fun. It is the monetary gain that these people are after. According to an article called The State of Minorities in the Economy by Luke Reidenbach, minorities experienced the highest drop in unemployment as the recession in 2011 progressed. This falls back to unequal opportunity in education. If minorities were provided a better education, then they would have more options to fall back on before resorting to crime. Minorities are unfairly sentenced in this country as well. Joe Palazzo wrote an article called Racial Gaps in Men's Sentencing. In this article, he explains that black offenders, on average, receive sentences that are roughly 19% longer than that of white citizens, or white offenders of similar crimes. With these sort of unfair and unequal practices going on, it's clear why minorities tend to be incarcerated at higher rates. With the way prisons and sentencing are working now, it is clear that some changes need to occur in order to make a difference. First off, improving school conditions in areas with larger minority populations would open doors for these populations, would open doors for other opportunities for these people. Another potential way to lower these incarceration rates would be by offering more rehabilitation and job training in prison. If these were offered at more prisons throughout the country, then upon release, the inmates would have a better chance of finding legitimate work when they've been released. This would prevent many people from returning to crime after they're released. A change that could possibly have the largest impact on these prison rates would be changing the harsh and long sentences for drug-related charges. It was the start of the war on drugs that caused the prison population to swell to what it is now. And as the years have progressed, it is becoming clear that the current laws surrounding drugs and sentencing need to be revised. If things remain unchanged, then the U.S. prison population will likely continue to grow. Around the world, America is known as the land of the free. However, our policies on crime and sentencing has led us to incarcerate more of our population than any other nation. Unless we make some serious changes, that is unlikely to change anytime soon, and that means minorities will continue to be affected greatest by it. Any questions? No? Cool.